Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Newman City Council regular meeting, October 13th, 2020. Notice this meeting will be held in accordance with Executive Order N-29-20 issued by California Governor Gavin Newman on March 17th, 2020. The Ralph M. Brown Act, California Government Code Section 54950 SEQ, and the Federal Americans with Disability Act. This meeting will not be physically open to the public. All members of the public may participate in the meeting via video conferencing and the password, this should be 998-264-28477, and or by video conferencing, which would be 669-900-6833. Meeting ID 998-264-28477. Passcode 419463, and will be given the opportunity to provide public comment. With that, I'd like everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Murray, would you do the honor of the invocation?
Thank you, sir. Yes. Thought for the day. Acts of kindness ripple through the world. Let's pray. Most gracious Father, we thank you for the opportunity to conduct the business of our community. It is a privilege for each of us. We request now that, Father, you bless those in our community and across our nation that are suffering from the effects of the COVID-19 virus and the quarantine and all the associated impacts. Bless us tonight, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
And thank you so much, Murray. With that, Michael, could we have roll call?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Day.
Present.
Councilmember Graham.
Here.
Councilmember McDonald.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Candia.
Here.
And Mayor Martinez.
Here.
Okay.
Okay, we're all here tonight. That's good. Number 5 is a declaration of conflict of interest. Is there any tonight? None here.
No.
None? Okay. No conflicts of interest. Tonight, 6 ceremonial matters. We have none tonight. 7 is items from the public, non-agenda items. Anyone that would like to speak to the council, this would be your time to let us know what you'd like to say. And please try to hold it to 3 minutes. If you need more time, the council will consider that request. With that, I open it up to the public for any comments.
I'm not seeing any hands, Mayor.
Okay, thank you so much. With that, I'll move on to number 8, which is consent calendar. A, waive all readings of ordinance and resolutions except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of the September 22nd, 2020 meeting.
I move that we approve the consent calendar as read.
And I'll second that.
And we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. 9 is public hearing. There is none tonight. 10 is a regular business. A, adopt resolution number 2020, next number, a resolution annexation, referral to the Stanislaus County Local Agency Formation Commission, LAFCO, for the annexation of the Northwest Newman Master Plan, Phase 1.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll go ahead and take this one. Before I get too much into the project, I'll just go over our background again. Most of you have already heard this before, but in case there's somebody new out there. So in 2007 is when the City Council adopted our Newman 2030 General Plan. Part of that included a policy which included that the city shall prepare master plans to ensure that growth and development occur in an orderly and contiguous manner. Now, this was adopted as a policy, and it's based off a project that occurred in Turlock, and it's the North Turlock Master Plan. The city undertook the master plan over there where Pittman High School is. Their planner at the time came and did a presentation to the General Plan Steering Committee. They liked the concept, and therefore they've adopted that as part of our general plan. And so that's why our sphere of influence is broken out into 10 master plan areas, and they're basically called neighborhoods. So in 2010, there's a large landowner who began a master plan in this area, but however, due to the economy and all that, they stopped preparing the master plan, and that's when staff worked with them. And in 2012, September 2012, the council went ahead and elected to go ahead and move forward with the annexation. And the reason they picked this particular area is because it had both residential and business park as part of it, and the infrastructure to serve this area was nearby. Throughout the process, again, started in September 12, and it kind of went on and off a little bit because in 2014, that's when LAFCO passed their ag mitigation policy. And so Newman put our master plan on hold while we went forward with Measure Z. Measure Z is our urban growth boundary. So we've adopted our sphere of influence as our urban growth boundary. That's a 25-year plan. It goes to 2040. That just indicates that we would not grow outside of that area until that time. It was approved overwhelmingly by 70% of the people. So after that, we went back and started picking up on the master plan and kept moving forward. Then finally, in October 2017, the Planning Commission finally reviewed this project, the master plan, and the proposed general plan amendment, and the rezones and everything that went along with it. The Planning Commission voted 2-1 in favor of recommending the council certify the EAR and approve the master plan. However, since there was only 3 members and 2-1 required that all 3 members vote in affirmative, the master plan project went forward to the council without a recommendation from the Planning Commission. Then on November 14th of 2017, the council began the process of hearing the master plan presentation and EAR, accompanying EAR. After hearing a lot of comment on that November 14th meeting, they referred the matter over to their December 12th meeting. It allowed staff to generate some comments and responses to the people's comments. And then finally, on December 12th of 2017, the council went ahead and certified the EAR and the related significance of findings. And then there was not a referral at that time for LAFCO. So because we wanted to come back to the council and really look at what's the best way of implementing the project, so we decided to do it in a phasing program as opposed to annexing 300 acres at one time, when we knew that it would be a significant amount of time before the latter part of that would be annexed, and we wanted to keep it in ag production at the time. So finally, in March of 2018, the council referred the annexation to LAFCO, and that original phase 1 included about 120, just around 121 acres of land. Finally, that annexation proposal went to LAFCO. It took a while, didn't get there until October 2019, because we were negotiating with Stanislaus County on a master property tax agreement, and they had other issues going, so they continued to put us off. So anyway, ultimately it got to LAFCO in October 2013, was approved by LAFCO, went to a protest hearing, did not get enough support at that time at the protest hearing, so it went to a vote. And that vote was a special mail-in ballot that occurred in August of this year. And unfortunately, the results of the majority of the registered voters who returned ballots did not support the annexation. So that annexation application failed. Just last month in September, the council certified those findings that the annexation failed. But the council, who has throughout the process has always indicated that jobs is very important to our community. So they asked council to go back and take a look at the annexation boundaries. and see if we could get one that had significant property owner support. So we went back and looked at what the boundaries were. And again, because council had really indicated that jobs was the important thing. And I've included in your package a copy of the summary of the fiscal impact analysis that really talks about how this master plan area could develop commercial and employment generating land uses for over 2,000 jobs. And then the property tax revenue sharing agreement we got with the county. Currently, we only get 30% of the increased revenues. Under the new agreement, we would get 50% of the increased property tax revenue. So that's a significant improvement for the city. So both of those would be important factors in continuing to go forward. To further support the fiscal impact analysis, there is a letter in your package today from Opportunity Stanislaus with our economic development engine in the county. And they talk about the potential for significant economic impact on the residents itself and the number of jobs that just this one current phase would offer. So with that, we went back and looked at, okay, one property owner is pretty significant. So we sent out letters to all the property owners on what we thought would be a revised boundary. There would be 15 properties, one of which is owned by the city. So we sent letters to 12 property owners who represent 14 properties. And in that letter, we indicated that we would like to include them in a modified annexation application. And to date, we've received responses from property owners that represent over 90% of that land within the proposed boundary. So those letters or emails are attached as part of your package. We did not receive any responses from property owners indicating that they did not want to be included in there. So we sent the original letter, then we sent the second letter letting them know that you were going to be considering this tonight. And then the third time we notified them, we sent them a copy of the agenda. So the property owners that are being proposed for annexation tonight have gotten 3 copies. But we've also sent mail letters to 23 property owners who were in the original application that are not being included in this one, letting them know that we had planned to omit them from the modified boundary. To date, we only received response from one of those 23 property owners. And that response was actually someone who supported his land being included in the annexation. But when we discussed that due to his location and the not having support from his neighboring properties, it was infeasible for us to include him in this phase of the annexation. He completely understood. With that, no other property owners has gotten back to us and asked us to include them as part of that. So today's boundary that we're proposing for you today is approximately 65.3 acres. Just over 44 of that acres is business park. 10 acres is professional office. 5 acres is community commercial. 1 acre is residential. And then 5.2 acres is right-of-way roadways. So that comprises the 53 acres, and they're all pretty close, plus or minus there. The 2 residential properties that are on there are the only 2 pieces of residential property in here. So 1 out of the 65 acres is residential. The other land is all job generation. So again, we're trying to emphasize job generation and economic development for our community. And we included those 2 properties because they're adjacent to city boundary, and they both have in the past indicated they wanted to be in the city to get utilities. So we've included them. So including property owners that wanted to cooperate and be a part of the annexation is a very important component that I think the council wanted to see. But it's also important to ensure that we have a good circulation system, a network of roads, so that people can access the businesses that are going to be generated there in a safe manner. And so as part of your package, we did include a copy of the circulation area for the area. And it shows how You can see the arrows there that people would be able to then access a business as well as access Stir Road, as well as access Sherman Parkway. So there is a network system here that would support the annexation of this phase one. And then that roadway system, that circulation system would also be utilized to deliver utilities, water, sewer, and storm drainage to the properties that are in phase one there. At our last meeting, I know a member of CCID has spoken forward and indicated that because a couple property owners did not want to participate in their original application and they were left out of this one, created a peninsula or an island, depending on how you want to look at it. And that was not consistent with CCID policy, and they indicated that it was not consistent with CCID policy, and we recognize that. And if we would have been able to go forward with phase one, like with our original intentions, we wouldn't have created that island, but those property owners do not want to participate. And this is, again, a very important project for the city. But it should be noted that all of the CCID facilities will be maintained, as also well kept in shape, because those will convey water to those properties, as well as convey waters to properties further downstream, which would be on the east side of Highway 33 and north of Sherman Parkway, though. So those facilities are not going away. They will continue to have and receive water. It should be noted that only one of those properties of the three that they've indicated would be an island actually receive CCID water on a consistent basis. And then just lastly, we have talked to LAFCO staff a little bit about this project, and we just really mostly talked about process, what the boundary looks like, and they did not see or indicate that they felt that there were any significant issues with the proposed boundary. And then we just kind of left it at that. So again, we've brought this application forward to you for your consideration. When we look at the cost impact, there is a $3,500 application fee to LAFCO. That cost will be fully recoverable through future development through the Specific Plan Act. But there's potential long-term fiscal positive impact on the community. Again, I think when you look at the letter, you'll see from Opportunity Stanislaus and Mr. David White, who's the president and CEO, he alone estimates, and this could potentially have full build out of this 65 acres, generate about $43 million in wages for residents and people who live in this area. He thinks the average job in the county for those types of jobs is about $30 an hour. So that's pretty significant. Those are livable wages for City of Newman. And that's a tremendous impact here on the west side. So even if his numbers were just slightly off, because he didn't get to look at all the job descriptions, he just kind of used a real template. But he's willing to do a little bit more due diligence. But we have that in our fiscal impact analysis. That's still a very significant positive impact on our community and on our residents, be able to have those jobs here. So at the direction of council, we developed a modified annexation boundary for your consideration. It does have strong property owner support, as I indicated. Property owners representing over 90% of the land have already written an email or a letter in support of the annexation. There's access to supporting infrastructure. Water and sewer are just right across the road. Water's coming in also to the west with our new well and site. There's a potential for a positive impact on our community. And we should make sure we understand that this project is consistent with the principle and standard that the community told us they wanted when we adopted its general plan in 2017. So with that, staff recommends council adopt the attached resolution, a resolution of annexation referral to Stanislaus County, LAFCO. So I can answer any questions you may have.
I noticed on looking at the map that that does include fixing Jensen Road to a serviceable two-lane access all the way to Fig, which in my opinion greatly reduces the potential for accidents in that particular area and for tearing up the road itself. When school does reconvene, that will also provide a safe access for the students in our community that are required to move from the east side of the tracks over to the high school location. So that's a significant improvement as well to our community.
Yes, thank you, Councilmember. I did leave that off, but that was another one of the benefits of the proposed boundaries.
Any other comments from any councilman?
Do we have more housing opportunities still available in the city? I know the area is almost built out in Sherman Park, and that's what concerns me the most. Obviously, we want slow, controlled growth, but we are running short on homes and lots and rentable places and things like that for citizens here in the city.
That's a great question, Councilmember. So we have very limited amount of available land for development in the community with respect to residential. There's a few infill projects. I think you remember, at the end of Fig Lane, behind Real Court over there's about an 8-lot subdivision over there. We have the T Street project, which is about 10 lots. And then we have a project on Prince Road, which is give or take about 90 lots there. So at some point, the city will have to consider annexing additional land for residential development.
Right.
It was not included as part of this because a couple different reasons was it take longer to get. We still have to develop, bring the infrastructure into the business park before it can be extended over to the residential. So I think it's more feasible to leave that out now and let them continue to farm it until we get the infrastructure over there that could possibly support residential in the future.
Right. Okay. So then we have about 120 places that we can build on going forward still, or about 120 lots potentially.
Correct.
All the different accesses. Okay.
I have a quick question for you, Mike. I thought that, this might have been brought up sometime last year, that we had earmarked for at least 140 something units of housing to be built, and that was part of the master plan.
Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry, Councilmember.
Yeah. And I might be mistaken, but I thought last year we talked about in part of the master plan that there was allocated for 140 plus units of housing to be built as part of the master plan.
So ultimately, when this master plan is fully built out, Councilmember, you're looking at about 1,200 residential units over about a 20-year period. Now, there in that there is some high density residential up at Stir Road and Fig Lane. It's about 150 units.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's what I was referring to, Michael. Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions for the council? Michael, I would just like to thank you and the staff for putting this together, this modified resolution that you gave us all the documents that we need to make a great decision. So anyway, thank you for putting it all together. And with that, I'm going to open.
There's a hand up out here.
I see Jarrett Martin's hand up.
Is it opportunity for public comment?
Yes. Okay. If you would please go ahead. Please try to hold it to 3 minutes. If you need more time, the council can review that.
Yeah, I'll be brief. Mayor, council members, thank you for taking the time, allowing me to speak on this item. My name is Jarrett Martin, and I'm the general manager at Central California Irrigation District. At the last meeting, Maria Sequeira brought to your attention that this annexation as proposed last month, and again at this meeting, does create an island in CCID. Michael's right on the well. CCID was instrumental. CCID staff was instrumental in helping to coordinate and facilitate getting the new well drilled and working with the landowners in the area. And so we have a great working relationship with the city, and it's at a time like this where I want to make sure that as two small public agencies, one isn't sacrificing the rules of law of not creating islands or peninsulas, whatever you want to classify it, at the risk of another. And I think this goes against CCID policy. I want to go on the record as saying that. It's in opposition of the CCID board and what they've tasked me with, the rules and procedures that I am to implement. And I think that there is one very simple solution, and that's to exclude one parcel in one area, or another option is to exclude two smaller parcels in a different area. It would be consistent with both public agencies' policies on not creating islands but being contiguous. And I would encourage the council to think about that before going through this process with LAFCO. I would gladly entertain any questions that the council may have of me, and I can point out on a map where I think we can be consistent in our policies and continue our partnership. I mean, we work great with the city. So with that, thank you for allowing me to speak.
If the infrastructure is still there, what creates the issue? I know you guys have a policy for no islands, or that's the terms that you guys like to have. But if the infrastructure is there, is it really still an island? Because all the services are still available completely. The
services would be surrounded by the city.
Right.
It creates an island, and it's the same thing. If we ask Michael, part of the reason that the map was designed this way is for the city to be contiguous. It's part of public law, and it's a very, very simple solution in my opinion. And if you'd like to hear my opinion, I can tell you which areas would be could be removed from this annexation to be consistent with that policy.
I'd be interested in hearing whether those landowners have in fact said that they wish to be included.
Council member, yes. Mr. Martin and I have had this conversation, and the 3 properties that he has mentioned all have submitted or have called indicating that they would like to be included in the annexation.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Mr. Martin.
So again, I guess you didn't answer my question. If the infrastructure is still there that supplies the water and the services that you guys supply, how is it still an island? I understand that it'd be surrounded by city. In that aspect, it would be an island, but the services are still there. So if they're not disrupted, the services are still getting there, correct? So how would you consider an island if the services are still available and still being tendered as they normally would?
Okay, so I understand your question is potentially 2 parts. I'll attempt to answer both of them. One part, can the growers still get water as proposed under this annexation? And to the best knowledge that we have today, yes, they would still be able to get service. To answer the second question of what is the issue is that this is not consistent with public districts on being contiguous and going through a process with annexations and detachments. This would create an island within my district surrounded by the city of Newman.
That doesn't make sense.
Thank you so much. Okay. I want to, is there any other comments from anyone in the public? For Ms. Stokes?
Yes, Sherry Marsigli. I'm sorry, I don't have the technology to be in front of you, but I'm on my phone.
That's fine.
Okay. I'm a part owner at 27807 Highway 33. A couple of issues. Number one, the issue is not whether you have services or not. The issue is where the boundaries of the city are, and it very much creates an island for us. And I believe that at LAFCO as well as CCID, that goes against, and the state of California does not want islands created in communities. The second thing is I know 2 landowners on FIG who did not receive a letter and who are opposed and are currently included in the annexation. And the third one is I know for a fact that somebody sent you a letter opposing it and it didn't show up in your packet.
We did not receive any letters. and we can show you the mailing list that we sent everything out to.
I talked to Christina Brazil, I believe, and Mr. and Mrs. Nunes, and they did not receive letters.
We sent the letter to Miss Nunes on Keir Road, which is the address that's on the county assessors, and then we sent the one to Nunes at their address on Fig Lane.
Well, all I know is I heard from them, and they did not receive letters, so I don't know why. I know the post office is a mess right now, but they did not receive letters, and they do not want to be annexed.
Excuse me, this is Councilman McDonald. I want to say I'm in favor in reference to what Mary Day was saying earlier. I think that each and every one of those people, even if you didn't get nothing back, I think that they need to be heard from. And it's important that everybody is included. Even though you may have sent that letter out, we need to basically hear their voices. We need to hear what they're talking about.
Okay, is there any other comments from the public?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I say something?
Yes, you may.
Okay, this is Maria Sequeira with CCID, and I wasn't going to really say anything after Jared said what he did, but I just heard Sherry making a comment, and Christine herself also called me at CCID expressing her concern. She was actually very upset that she was getting moved into the city. So I don't know about the letter. I don't know any of that. I just wanted to inform you that she did call me. She spoke to me directly, and that she was very upset that she was being moved out of CCID, and she wanted to know what we were going to do about it. And I told her we are here for the farmers, but eventually she had to speak to the city. So I just want to let you know that she did call me. And as Jared did mention about the districts, and LAFCO can clarify this, actually Stanislaus can, part of the problem with being under both districts, which that's exactly what would happen when end up being in CCID and in the city, is when it comes to votes, it becomes a problem because then they don't know if it's city or if it's agriculture. So that's the other issue that it happens. So it's something that we have to be extremely careful with. So I just want to let you guys know about Christine calling me, basically saying what Sherry did, because she did contact me at CCID.
I think it's important that the council remember that hearsay evidence or hearsay comments are not valid. It is the documentation that's important.
Correct. But I also feel that if she called me.
I wasn't addressing you, ma'am. I was addressing the council.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your comments. We appreciate it.
I see a couple more hands up. I think first is Mr. Martinez.
That's fine. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, as you know, this is a new application that's going to be going to LAFCO, so it hasn't been presented yet. We did look at your map, and even though your agenda says that there's no island created, it looks like there is one to us. It's on the southwest corner. It's a little hard to tell from your drawing there, but if it is an island, that would be a concern to LAFCO. There's also a little finger going out to the west that's not really consistent with LAFCO's policy either of a clean line. We would need some detail on that to see whether or not that makes any sense. So these are just the things that LAFCO is going to be looking at. You're starting all over again with the new application, but LAFCO law does not allow for islands to be created. And I don't know, the CCID's issues there would have to be considered too. But these are just general comments, and I realize you haven't submitted anything yet. But these are just some of the things that we're going to be looking at. So that's my only comment for this so far.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. Any other comments from the public?
Yeah, there are a few. I think Sarah Little from LAFCO.
Hi there, this is Sarah Lytle Penny. I'm the executive officer of LAFCO. I just wanted to throw in a little bit of information about islands. State law does generally prohibit the creation of islands. There is a provision that allows for an exception to that rule. It's a finding that the commission would need to make in order to create the island. Basically, the finding is that the application of that island restriction would be detrimental to the orderly development of the community. So that would be a contention that the city would make during their application. What I heard tonight from CCID is it sounds like there may be an alternative of some sort, and I'm interested in hearing some more about that maybe a little later. But that would be an issue that would arise at our commission as well, and we would be accepting of comments from CCID at that point too. If you have any questions of me, let me know.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Is there anyone out there in the public would like to speak to the council?
Yeah, I see Mr. Dave Romero's hand up.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. Just very briefly, on behalf of Sandpoint Ranch, we own 19 acres within the annexation boundary. We really appreciate the city's effort and persistence on this project, getting it to this point. We're supportive of the annexation. We look forward to working with you through the process to get this moved into the city. And so I just wanted to let you know we're here and supportive. Sarah's actually right. LAFCO can create islands. It's statutorily allowed. And the finding is not only that the boundary, it would frustrate the logical, orderly development of the city. So that allows cities in cases where you have to create a unique boundary to bring it in. And the second is that the remaining area could not incorporate as its own city. So I don't think there's much threat of the 22 acres incorporating as a city in the future. And so this is really the path that the council needs to proceed if you want to get this business park in. So we're supportive. We look forward to the opportunity to continue to work with the city, ultimately to development of your business park. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for your comments. And still open to the public for any other comments?
I don't see any further hands up.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for all your comments. We greatly appreciate them. At this time, I'm bringing it back to the council for direction.
Mayor, may I speak real quick?
Yes, you may. I'm sorry.
Okay. So again, you know, I understand CCID's position, and I've talked to him about those particular parcels, and you know, really talking about two parcels that he indicated were at the corner of Jensen and Highway 33. You know, those are important parcels, and making sure that we can improve upon Jensen Road as well to get that into two full traffic lanes there. So that's an important feature on there as well. And then I'd like to just talk to Leah real quick. Leah, so can we add two findings into our resolution? One, that the creation of this, for lack of a better term, this island, I guess, if you will, on the three parcels will not be detrimental to the development of the city. So we can make sure that we're meeting LAFCO's findings.
Yes, will do.
Okay. So Mayor, so or council, whoever, if you elect to go forward, it would be staff's recommendation that we include that finding, that understanding that there are three parcels that are going to be left out at the property owner's direction, that those property owners have elected not to have it in there, but this annexation, and even though we would be on completely around them creating an island, it would not be detrimental to the long-term impact and development of the city.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, I bring it back to the council for direction.
I want to make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2020 next to number, a resolution of annexation referral to the Stanislaus County Agency Formation Commission, aka LAFCO, for the annexation of the Northwest Newman Master Plan Phase 1.
I would add to that, if I may, Nick, with your permission, include the additional comments made by the city manager to that proposal.
Absolutely.
I'll second the motion then.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Okay, with that, we're going to move on to item 11. Item from District 5, Stanislaus County Supervisor, Mr. Jim DeMartini.
You're muted, Jim.
You got on mute, Jim.
Are you there, Mr. DeMartini?
Jim, you got to unmute.
How's
There
that?
you go.
There you go.
I just hate computers more than you know. I'm in first grade with them, and I just don't like them. In fact, I don't even have one. I had to take this one from the county. I hope that you'll open up your council chambers pretty soon. Ceres is going to do that on their very next meeting, and our board is never not met, on using computers. But anyway, so you have to do what's best for you, but I really wish you'd open up your councils again. Okay, had a couple of things. Today, the board passed the small business revitalization grant. We had dedicated $10 million for businesses that were affected by the coronavirus. That got increased today to about 14 million. I had voted against it. I was okay with going up to 12 million, but not past that, because that has to come out of another pot of money, but it did pass. The threshold with the original $10 million was 72, the scoring of 72 or better out of 100. So I was wanting to go down to 70, but it went down to 65. So I don't know how many more businesses were affected in District 5. There was 54 businesses up to the 72 percentile. So I would imagine there's probably more like around 65 right now. There was personal care and grooming was the biggest category, followed by the restaurants and then retail trade. And these were people that were shut down by the governor as considered non-essential or whatever. And there was a lot of economic damage there. So we got some money from the federal government. So that passed today. The money will start to be distributed tomorrow to the businesses that won the awards. They will be contacted, and then they will be asked to give the bank routing number, and we will transfer the money directly into their banking account. They do have the option of us sending them a check too, if they wish to do it that way. But anyway, that passed today, so money starts going out tomorrow. So it'll be roughly about $14 million to local businesses. It took a long time to get this done. I just want to say we expected about 500 applications, and we got 1,300. So staff had to go through and score every one, and it took a lot longer because there were so many applications. But anyway, it's done now, and the money will be on the way tomorrow. The other thing that happened today at the board meeting, we got the funding. We executed the contract for the Crow's Landing Bridge over the San Joaquin River. That is the first project that is going. We have approved everything, the contract. The construction is supposed to begin in November. So this will be a new bridge. The old one will remain open so that traffic won't get closed off. But it's a new bridge. The contract amount was $18,176,000. And all the time I've been at the county, I have never seen so much money coming from the federal government for bridge construction. We've had numerous bridges projects that's going on in the county. And just in the west side, we've still got the Hills Ferry Road Bridge that will be funded. This one, Crow's Landing Road. Another one that's going to be completely replaced now is the bridge over the San Joaquin River on Las Palmas, West Main. We replaced a bridge on Carpenter Road a couple of years ago, the McHenry Avenue Bridge. And we're securing the last of the funding we needed now for the 7th Street Bridge over the Tuolumne River. And then there's also another smaller bridge over Orostemba Creek that we have funding for. We just haven't started the project yet. So there's a lot of improvements in bridges done throughout the county. And about 90% of the money comes from the federal government. So this is a really big deal to be able to replace these bridges because local matches are quite low. And if we had to pay for the whole thing, we wouldn't be able to do any road construction anywhere. So anyway, that's the first bridge. So look for crews out there just in a few weeks. And that's about all I have. I'd say the West Side Healthcare Task Force Art and Essay Contest is underway. The deadline for entries is November 4th. Then we will judge them at Gustine City Hall, print up our calendar and give out the awards, first week of December. And the schools were notified as a reminder just a few days ago too, when the deadline was. And anyway, that's all I have unless you have any questions for me.
I'd like to mention something to Supervisor D. Martini. He had mentioned in reference to he had not seen so much money, flowing, especially here in the Valley. It's people like Lou, very professional people that keep their eyes open and that step out the box, that notice that there's a certain amount of money that's flowing around and they go after it. That's something that this county, when I moved down here 15 years ago, noticed that a lot of that money, transportation infrastructure, money was going to Southern California and was bypassing the Valley, Central Valley, simply because they didn't know how to go after that money. Now you've got smart people that basically have settled in the Valley, that know what they're doing, know how to go after those state and federal dollars. You're going to see much more. And get ready because there's tons of that money that's fixing to happen for the Valley.
Yeah, they would thank StanCog with a lot of this because StanCog is the one that secures this money. Plus these bridges, we've done this central corridor now, the Maze Road bypass, which is a really expensive project. And if anybody's passed over that, in fact, there's a new bridge there over Carpenter Road. And that is a really costly project, and it's coming along pretty well. And then there's the North County corridor too that's working its way towards Oakdale. So we have a lot of construction going on. I think the most ever I can ever remember. So it's a good thing.
Thank you, Jim. Any other questions for our supervisor? If not, thank you, Jim.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to move on to item 12, items from the city manager and staff.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, and Councilmember McDonald's correct. There's a lot of money that's starting to flow around. So at your next meeting, we will be submitting some projects to you for possible grant funding under Prop 68. It's a Parks and Recreation funding program. So we're going to submit those to you, and you're going to tell us which ones you would like us to chase after. And those are due at the end of the year. So we'll get those to you at your next meeting, council member and mayor, and you guys can let us know how you would like us to rank those, and then we can proceed forward with those. So
very good.
And then we did get a grant, an SB2 grant for $150,000 recently, and that's going to be used to update our zoning ordinance. And then it's also going to be used to create a infrastructure financing plan for the Northwest Newman area out there. So we can have a plan for how we're going to pay for all the infrastructure. That's a lot of infrastructure, and it's going to be pretty significant, the investment into the Northwest Newman master plan. And so what we'll do is we'll look at all the funding sources, whether there's city funds through impact fees, developer funds, grants, and all the rest, economic development, because as you know, we're hoping to create, as Mr. White said in his letter, a couple hundred jobs out there, potentially at the full build out 2,000 jobs. That's a lot of jobs for our community. So We're going to look at trying to get an infrastructure financing plan in place so we can start chasing after those dollars. And we know how much money we need for each segment, that we can say, okay, Jensen Road's going to take X number of dollars, and we go after that, and then we can, break it out accordingly. So it's always good to have a plan in place when you're trying to develop that stuff and know what those costs are going ahead of time. So, and then lastly, two more things. We are working with Opportunity Stanislaus right now, and so we want to thank Supervisor DeMartini and the board, because originally there was some CARES money that came out, and it was we were set to get about just over $400,000. There was a provision in that agreement with the county that said if the state gave us money, the county would pull back the same like amount. That was about $150,000. Now the county is looking to release that back to us, that $150,000 of CARES funding. So we believe it may be prudent at that time to create a grant program for our local downtown businesses and our local businesses here, to create some funding opportunities for them as well. So we'll be working with Opportunity Stanislaus to create a program and bring that back to you at your next meeting, to see if we can get another influx of cash and money to our local businesses, and trying to keep them moving forward as this pandemic continues to have an impact on our community.
Like that.
And then lastly, there's been a lot of talk. So the corner of Kern and Highway 33, the old building you guys want torn down, we are getting very close to getting that project taken to Planning Commission. So if you don't know, we're looking at an ARCO AM/PM at that location with a car wash as well. And then that would take up that site from Kern all the way to Mariposa. They would take up that whole half a block between the alley and the highway there. So we just finalized the traffic study. We've done a noise study. We've done the light study. The traffic study is out at Caltrans right now. We're waiting for their responses. And then we can work on a schedule with the developer to figure out a process for moving forward in a timeline. So with that, I can answer any questions you may have.
That'll be nice.
Michael, I forgot to mention that the county did release that $5.5 million additionally to the cities today. I should have mentioned that. I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what share of that Newman gets, but it's a percentage. But
yeah, and
outside of that, there was an additional $5.5 million put forward today.
Yeah, and Jim, we've got that from Michelle today, and we've already signed it and gotten it back to her. And on behalf of the council and the whole community, thank you. It's greatly appreciated. We're going to try to get that money back into our local businesses' hands and those that have been impacted by COVID. So,
yeah, okay.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Michael? Gee, Michael, you answered everyone's question. But anyway, we're going to move on to Allie. Are you on the line, Allie?
I'm here. Good evening, Mayor, council members. Just coming back with an update of our farmers market. We are now in our 4th week of our harvest market and Newman Eats. Newman Eats has continued to be successful as well as the harvest market. Last week we had 30 vendors all at once. It's been one of our busiest nights. Everybody's seeming to do their own thing, keeping safe. All of the vendors have been amazing to work with. Public Works and all the departments, police, and everybody that has helped us out with the event. It's been really, really, really appreciated by all of them. So we have 2 more left of our Harvest Market / Newman Eats. With the Stanislaus County opening up a little bit now, with restaurants being able to open at 25 capacity, we will allow the food vendors, so the restaurants, to still serve outside during these last 2 events, depending on if they want to seat outside or not, which I'm thinking they will want to seat outside with the amount of people they have been receiving on Friday nights. Apart from the fall harvest market, we are turning a leaf onto Halloween. I mentioned it last week. We have a lot of sponsors coming in to help us out with this event for the contest winners. We are decorating front yards, not ourselves, but the community, in order to participate for this event. So we hope to hear more from the community. Anybody that's interested in participating, please feel free to contact me. Or if you guys know of anybody, send them my way and I'll get them entered into the front yard decorating contest. Apart from that, for me right now, that's pretty much what I have. If I have any questions from you guys.
Any questions for Ally?
I'd just like to say great job. Continue going with that. I mean, you've done a phenomenal job down there with the businesses and farmers market. Really nice. A good community event. It brings everybody together. Even following the safety rules, I think it's a great thing for us. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And I can't take all the credit. The council, I mean, the directors and I'm sorry, the directors and the Chamber of Commerce has helped a ton. Michael Pastorelli and his staff and Jose Luis have definitely helped us out tremendously as well.
We appreciate all of it.
Ally, you know something, you are to be commended, as Casey has just told you. It's really helped our city because, you know, people have had to stay indoors, you know, and they start to get cabin fever and all that stuff. And it's really given them an opportunity to get out and have dinner with their family. And thank you for it just changed the lives of a lot of people and made people a lot happier. But anyway, thank you for what you've done. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you, guys.
And with that, we're going to move on to Chief Randy Richardson. Are you on the line?
Evening, Mayor. Council members, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just one quick announcement. Our Canine Association went out and secured a donation for a replacement canine. So Corporal Ashley Williams received a check last week for the purchase of a new canine. So we're in the process of naming a new canine handler, and then we'll hopefully be going out to secure that dog within the next couple weeks. And I'll report back to you when we get the new dog. Maybe I can send some pictures on Zoom. Other than that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Are you planning on doing another drug dog or a bite dog?
Currently, we'll be doing a apprehension dog with possible ability of cross training.
Right.
Sounds good, Chief. Any other comments from any of the councilmen? Okay, if not, we're going to move on. Lou, are you on the line?
I'm here. How are you doing?
Very good. You look good.
Feeling good. Just want to let you know, we're still working with our auditors to complete the financials for last year. We're still on schedule. We're hoping to get it at the first meeting during November, but we'll see how that goes. Other than that, our finances are doing well, even though all the COVID thing is going on. We're still collecting revenue on schedule, and we're not seeing anything that's way out of whack or out of miss with our financing. So city's still healthy financially.
You know, Lou, one thing I've noticed, and of course I'm sure everybody else has, is home sales have been unbelievable as far as people selling homes. I mean, it's like, I can't believe they're on the market for such a short period of time and they're sold. Yeah,
this low interest rate is really driving a lot of that. People are willing to pay a little bit more for a home because they know right now they're getting the best financing they're probably going to see in their lives. Right. I've seen as low as 2.65 come through on some refinances. It's really impressive. It's a real driver for the market right now. Yeah. Well, you see it out there. Yeah, we need to get some more homes. Amen. We're trying. And we're gonna do it. But anyway, thank you so much, Lou. And with that, Catherine, are you on the line?
Turn your mute off.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything special to report, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Catherine tonight?
I don't see any hands.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
Pardon? Yeah, Chief Bowden, are you on the line?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good evening, Mayor, Council. I don't have anything to report really. We do have all our firefighters home, and I can answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for the chief?
Don't see any hands.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, amen.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we're going to move on to the council. Casey, do you have anything for us tonight?
Yeah, I'd just like to talk about the annexation real quick. I know we're past it and we moved it. But sometimes when the city needs to grow, we need to expand, we need to provide job opportunities for our community. And we need to do it in a slow, controlled aspect. And not everybody's always going to agree with the direction of the growth or where we're going. And we have to do the best we can for the citizens as a whole. And I think that we're attempting to do that. And I am pleased that we do have some house growth still possible left. I'd like to make sure that we continue to give opportunities for people to buy homes, in essence, for family members to return to the community that have left and want to come back and grow in a slow, controlled fashion. And I think that's what we're attempting to do. And I appreciate all the work that was put into it. And that's going to take them moving forward with that. Again, Allie, the downtown things are great. I appreciate all your effort on that. That's really great. You say give credit to a bunch of other people. You've put a lot of work into that. So thank you very much for all that and everybody else that's involved with you. And other than that, I got nothing. I see that we moved to red today or the other day. And so we're going to be expanding and opening a little bit. Just stay healthy and maintain what you're doing with your safety precautions when it comes to COVID.
Thank you, Casey. Greatly appreciate your comments. Moving on to Leroy. Do you have any comments tonight, Leroy?
Yeah, just two quick to just mention to you guys, just stay safe, and we're definitely on the road to recovery, and that we're living in one of the blessed cities in the valley, and that basically I'm really proud of our administration. You know, they're doing a great job, and just stay the course. God bless you guys.
Thank you, Leroy. And with that, Nick, do you have anything for us tonight?
I've got nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay, Nick. Thank you just so much. Murray, do you have anything tonight?
Just a reminder that coming up the first week in November, we have a very important decision to make in terms of our country, our county, and our city. And I encourage each of you in our community to pay special attention to the issues that are facing our country and issues that are facing our county and city, and make wise decisions about the future of our country and decisions about our county and state and so forth. Just be safe, be smart, and take care.
Thank you very much, Murray. I just would like to remind everyone, I do every time, to wear your masks. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are out there thinking they don't need them, but they do. And anyway, one other thing everyone should think about, very important, get your flu shot. This is an important one. So anyway, I thank everyone for what you've done for the city. And with that, I would like to ask for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Have
Good night.
a great evening.